Jim Boat.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno. And a good Saturday evening to everybody out there. We get another bite at the apple tonight. Kings and Lakers from Los Angeles. Will Domas move to 11-0 against Anthony Davis? We will see. About 45 minutes until tip-off. We've got full coverage of the game for you here tonight on If You Don't Like That. Make sure you join us back for halftime. Postgame, we got the full breakdown of Kings, Lakers coming up on the other side.
Break it down, it's Sacktown, we're the crown.
Needs to be more aggressive on the offensive end, but this is the kind of Williams, the Fox, goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Happy Saturday evening. Thank you so much for tuning in and making us your choice this evening, getting you ready for Kings basketball. Ryan in Sacktown with you. We're going to get you going, get you set up for the Kings, looking to move to 1-1, 500 on the season, taking on the Lakers, who played last night in Phoenix. They were down 22 at one point in that game. They end up winning it, coming back. Big game. Big game for Anthony Davis. Finishes with 35 points. He was a monster. Dalton Connect, while the stat sheet didn't exactly show him to have a massive impact on the game, he did a lot of good stuff, especially in that first half to keep the Lakers in it. And by the way, this is the first time the Lakers have been 2-0 in 14 years. 14 years. Can you believe that? So get your questions in. I would love to have you here on the show. You're more than happy to call the show if you would like to. The link is posted in the chat. It's pinned up there. Also, you can scan the QR code that is on the screen. We are brought to you tonight by Bennetts West Side Grill in Rockland, newest location out of their 3 in the greater Sacramento area. Last time I checked, it is Saturday. The weather is beautiful. Get out there for brunch on the weekends. They've got incredible offerings on that brunch menu, and you can get 2 entrees, bottle of champagne, $44. Not too bad. Under $50 out the door. Also, weekend prime rib. They've got great specials during the week. Prime cuts of seafood and steak. You can now also go to BennettsRestaurants.com and you can put in your to-go orders directly from there. Super awesome stuff. You can do a lot of fun stuff on their website as well, like make reservations, get gift cards as well. Huge thanks to Bennetts for sponsoring the pregame show tonight. Let me know where you're checking in from. We usually have viewers from all around the world. I know that sounds crazy. I know we've got Serbia. We've got the Philippines. We've got it peppered. We need to start putting a map in. So, and putting the little destinations with the pins, you know. Last night, now I will acknowledge this. The World Series is going on. Last time I checked, Dodgers 4-1. Was that a Kirk Gibson moment last night by Freddie Freeman? How did the Dodgers lose this World Series with that kind of momentum? I mean, that was incredible. Crazy stuff. I know John Finch is getting hyped up about that. But like I said earlier, there we go. Bane checking in from Pasadena. Beautiful Pasadena. Bane, I used to spend a lot of time in Pasadena, dude. That is funny. Zach checking in from Chico, home of the $1 drinks. Getting a lot of trouble in Chico, my man. Make sure you join us back at halftime. We would love to have you. Jerry Reynolds will be here with us. Always a very good show. We get you in, get you out, let you know what the keys are to the second half. And we do our predictions for the second half, the final score. You guys can put your predictions for the final score in here if you would like. Grant was like 2 points off the final score in game one. Patrick Livermore, shout out to the Bay Area. What's up, Livermore? John Finch, I know where he's at, and I know he's eating asparagus. 100%. I can smell you from here, John. And also, don't forget, post-game show right here on If You Don't Like That. Melissa is in Idaho. I have a special place in my heart for Idaho. My brother went to Boise State. I love the state of Idaho. So love that we have people all over checking in tonight for the pregame show. Like I said, call the show. Would love to hear from you tonight. It is a renewal of what used to be one of the best rivalries in basketball. It is fizzled out. It is really fizzled out over $1, Patrick. Yes, Patrick, man. Chico is crazy. It's a college town. It is a college town. So, John, your sister lives in Idaho. Okay. I love it. Like I said, I will interact with the chat. This show is as much about you as it is about the Kings and the Lakers. This is an open forum for all of you to get your thoughts in. You know, we took some, Patrick, from Long Island. Love it. We took calls on the post-game show Thursday night about tape on DeAaron Fox's shooting hand. Yes, tape on his shooting hand. It's okay. That's how observant many of you are. And that's why we love you. And I say, Kings fans, best and most knowledgeable in the NBA. All right, we are going to kick it off with a call. Let's get this guy in here. We haven't seen him since last season. NBA guru on the TNT set, man. All the way from Georgia. What's up?
Got to keep the TNT going for years and years to come. Just because this is their last year, I got to keep it going.
Yeah, we will see. We will see.
Just excited about the Kings game. I found a lot of positives, just like everyone was saying from the last game. And hopefully, I think the big thing is to see if Kevin can get rolling here after coming back from injuries and everything. I was surprised that he was starting. I kind of like the Keon element to start, just because we have so many offensive options on the starting lineup, and it'd be cool to have Kevin off the bench, and maybe he's been injured, so maybe have him off the bench to start off the year at least. But I'm excited to see how he goes. And we were 4-0 last year against the Lakers, and Sabonis was killing Davis. Let's see if he keeps that going. One thing, also, just quick thing, we had Harrison Barnes last year that could help defend Rui and LeBron. That's it'll be. I'm interested to see if one of those guys is going to cook the Kings or not.
Yeah, Rui has been playing really good basketball the first two games. He has played really well for them. They are not as big as the Timberwolves, but they're still big, Zach. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about it here in a little bit. As for Mike Brown's rotation, he said this coming into the season. He's still going to be feeling it out, figuring it out. There's a lot of debate whether Kevin should have started or not. It's not surprising. Mike's really loyal to Kevin. But this is the game to me. This is a Keon Ellis game. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to start, Zach, but the Lakers, speaking of run a ton of pick and roll. They do a bunch of two-man game, especially at the top of the key. And that is exactly what Keon Ellis is made for, Zach.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. When I was watching him in the last game, and it's just whenever they were switching a lot, they were switching, and Keon just stayed on the guy that had the ball the whole time, every time.
Hey, Guru, I was going to say this too. Sorry to cut you off. You sound like you're underwater.
I'll try to fix that in a second here. Let me do this on the fly.
Good looking, Flores.
Is it better now or worse?
A little bit better. Go ahead.
Okay. Basically, yeah. What was I saying?
You're talking about Keon.
Oh yeah, Keon. He was switching on like every player. There was a couple possessions where they just got like a bunch of screens, and Keon just kept switching on the player with the ball. So it'll be fun to see if he's keep doing that. I want to see him take a little bit some open shots created by the Fox, DeMar, Monk, and we'll see. I do like to see Keon step it up a little bit. I want to see if Doug's going to get those fourth quarter minutes like last time. I was kind of surprised how he got in that fourth quarter and just kind of thrown in there. And it was interesting by Mike Brown when he did that.
Yeah, I thought he left Doug in a little bit too long.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves, and Mike talked about it in shoot around yesterday, or I should say Coach Brown. I don't know him on a first name basis. He talked about it in shoot around. The Timberwolves with it, Trey Lyles takes a bad shot. It's what he did. Took a bad shot, and it leads to a 9-0 run. 3 triples in a row. Timberwolves erased the Kings lead that they had built up and held most of the third quarter. They got it up to 11. So I was a little bit like, okay, time to get Doug out. And then Doug still played a couple minutes after that. You looked at the lineup with 3:03 left in that game. You had Keon, DeMar, Foxy, Keegan, and Domas on the court. So those were your closers, and then ultimately Monk got in. We know what he did. You had two crucial missed free throws down the stretch, and the rest was history in this one. But hey, Zach, appreciate the call, brother.
Take care.
Be well. See, this is what I love about all of you. Y'all put us in check. You all do it. The audio's low. Let them know. Now, the one person you got to watch out for in the chat, I'm just warning everybody because this is only the second game of the season. Watch out for that Bane character. Great dude. But, sometimes he likes to make me look over my shoulder. Wait, is the video not on? Is the mic not coming through? I'm like, damn, come on, Bane. But anyways, good call by Zach. You can call the show as well. Mike Brown talked about that rotation in shoot around yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
That's talking about that during that stretch, we had opportunities to shoot threes on every single one of those possessions, and we chose to shoot a tough 2. But we had, instead of spraying it, and I think Jay said we were, numbers wise, I think we were 7 for 12. We like to get to 20 sprays per game. We were 7 for 12 for the game. And that includes 3 blatant sprays that we had an opportunity to do in a minute and a half span. So if we spray those, because it was really obvious, now you're up to 15 and you got to find, a way to get 5 other ones. And so you're close. The reality of it is too, DeMar is he's one guy that, hey, if you get to your spot, I want you to shoot that midi, and so maybe our threes may go down a little bit because he's shooting more middies, but we still want to be in the 30s, hopefully, from that 3-point line at the end of the day.
So that's what I wanted you to hear. That was the takeaway for me. A lot has been made over the past 36 hours since the Kings lost about 2 things. The first is DeAaron Fox's play. I've been perplexed at some of the reactions that we've gotten here on the show, on the Kings Court. Grant shows. It's only game 1. This team's trying to figure it out. Now, if you want to say, Ryno, he needs to have more than 15 points. Get it. I don't disagree with you. This team's going to have to figure out a way to play together. But my counter to that is you need to realize they are going to try, the Kings, to take things off of DeAaron Fox's plate. They're going to try to take things off of Domas's plate because their plates were overfilled last season. You burned them out, and it made the Kings predictable. And I think that's what led to so many 3-pointers last year. Some were good looks, some were ill-timed, but you look at the Timberwolves game on Thursday night, the Kings only shot 35? No, that was free throws. They shot 29 threes. That was it. 29 threes. So Coach Brown was saying in the third quarter, he wants the ball in that situation to spray a little bit more as opposed to taking the hard 2. Now, If your name's DeAaron Fox, that doesn't apply to you. You get to the rim, and Coach Brown has been vocal about that. And DeAaron, it's been a point of emphasis for him in the offseason to really try to get back to that point where he is going more towards the hoop and getting to the rim and get more of those catch and shoot 3-point looks, because he shoots the ball well, about 43% off the catch and shoot. Now, the second thing that I've been getting a lot of is the DeMar DeRozan ISO talk. To that, I say, what the hell did you expect when you got DeMar DeRozan? Yes, there's going to be some ISO. And my problem the other night with the ISO was not the amount of times that DeMar went to it, because he got to the free throw line, 13, 14 times himself? I don't have the box in front of me. The Kings, as a team, shot 35 free throws, which may have been, I didn't check the stats, that had to be damn near close or in the top 5 of their highest attempts compared to last season. But DeMar DeRozan, when he goes into ISO, yes, you do need to create space. You need to flatten out a little bit, but you still got to keep moving. And I think that's where the Kings hit a little bit of a lull at times in the game. But, all things considered, and we're not here too much to focus on the Timberwolves game, but all things considered, there were more positives than negatives in that game. And I'll remind you of this Kings team, they love DeAaron Fox, Malik Monk, love playing in Los Angeles. The Kings averaged over 126 points last season against the Lakers in their 4 meetings. All 4 meetings that they won, by the way. So the Lakers, not Brandon Ingram, Anthony Davis is going to come into this ready to go. And they're going to be a little tired. They played some minutes last night. You got Davis, who played 38. Hachimura played 39. You've got LeBron 35. You get 37 from Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, he's the guy that you really got to watch tonight as well. We'll talk about Connect here in a little bit. But Austin Reeves really kept that Lakers team in the game last night. He is excellent with the pick and roll. In the pick and roll tonight, you want to talk about a key to this game? Communication for the Kings. I go back to kind of what Zach was saying. This is going to be, in my opinion, a heavy Keon Ellis type of game. This is going to be a Jordan McLaughlin type of game. I know Jordan did not play in the first game, but if the Lakers are hitting the Kings with a high dose of the pick and roll, you can bet those are 2 of the best players at getting through screens on this roster. And then, of course, Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray is going to be asked to guard LeBron tonight, Anthony Davis tonight. He's going to be all over the court. And as I've said for a minute, great point, it is going to be a collaborative effort. As I've said for a minute, he is the Kings' best defender and probably the leader for the Kings on the defensive end of the court. Here's how the Lakers box looked last night against the Suns. They got down early, 22 points. The Suns started out hot from beyond the arc, 8 of 11, in fact, but the Lakers whittled it away, ultimately getting the victory on the road. So yes, they are on a back-to-back. Here's how their team stats lined up. Now, an interesting thing about the Lakers is in their first meeting of the season against the Timberwolves, they played some zone defense. And I'm not sure if they're going to zone the Kings tonight, but I certainly believe the Kings will zone the Lakers at times tonight. And the Kings did a good job last season at keeping the Lakers off of the offensive boards. They did a good job the other night against the Timberwolves, keeping them off the offensive boards. In fact, the Timberwolves only finished with 6 offensive rebounds. That's pretty damn good for a team that is significantly bigger than you. But I would expect this Los Angeles team, although they're going to be a little bit tired, they're going to have some fight. They've got a couple of guys getting minutes now that don't usually get minutes. The Lakers, as they sit right now, and here's the Lakers season stats for you, but as they sit right now, they're missing their big guys. The only 2 big guys they have on the roster right now are Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes. Those 2, and Jackson Hayes, his stat line, again, will not tell you the exact impact that he has been having on the Lakers over the last 2 games, but he has been playing very good basketball. So this is a prototypical game where it is time for the Kings to go to work. It is time for Domantas Sabonis to get one of those 2 guys into foul trouble, because the Kings are going to want to push the pace with the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back. And you look at total shots in the Kings' first game against Minnesota, the Kings took 82. Minnesota took 86. Mike Brown wants that pace up, up, up. So it'll be interesting to see how it unravels tonight. But I did like the comment that I saw a little bit ago about always, true Kings fans, this is always a rivalry game. It absolutely is. It takes you back to the 2000s. It takes you back to those classic games. And, you know, at the time, I hated those guys. I hated Shaq. I hated Kobe. And I'm still bitter, much like most Sacramento Kings fans. One of the, how do I put this? This is actually kind of difficult to put. One of the most impactful conversations that I've ever had with both Jerry and Grant is what it would have meant to them to have a ring, because that was the year they would have gotten a ring. And to hear the responses, to hear how fresh it still was. It's not just you fans, it's everybody that had been around that team. It was the players that were on that team. It's those that are still in the hallways, that are still around the team. It's still alive. Until the Kings get that chip, until they get that ring, this is still going to be going on. And again, the Kings dominated them last year, 4-0 against the Lakers. You'll bet LeBron's going to have something to say about it tonight. But ultimately, this game is set up very well for the Kings. They were in LA last night. They got to watch the Lakers play on the road. My guess is if the Kings come out, play with pace, play with a little bit of discipline, this should go the Kings' way. So I want to get to all you, get your questions, your chats in here. Also, you can call the show as well. John, yep, collaborative effort indeed. Do you think Fox should be more aggressive? Only took 2 free throws of the team's 35. Yes, absolutely. I think DeAaron would tell you the same thing as well. It was a little bit of a difficult matchup for him, in that you've got the big guys much bigger than most teams in the NBA in the paint. And again, Mike Brown talked about that a little bit in the soundbite just about 10 minutes ago. The fact that even DeAaron, you got to spray it if you hit the paint, because you were getting a worse look at that time in the game because the Timberwolves were packing the middle. So yeah, DeAaron's got to get to the hoop more. And these are the games like D'Angelo Russell. He cannot stay with DeAaron Fox, not even close. So that's why I think the zone for the Lakers is going to come into play. And you've got 3 zone busters on this Kings team. I'm going to say 2.5. And DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, you get those guys in the middle. And Keegan Murray, we're going to talk about him in a little bit here on the show. But I was incredibly impressed with what he did offensively in game 1 against the Timberwolves. Not the line, but the way that he got his points, the way he created, the way he got himself to his spots. I mean, Keegan's starting to trademark that fadeaway jump shot from the elbow, and it's beautiful. Kid's only in year 3. So I say 2.5, guys, because I think Keegan could also get to that middle of the zone and break it as well. So we're bringing you the Kings and the Lakers full coverage tonight here on If You Don't Like That. Ryan in Sacktown with you. Remember, we will be back at halftime. Grant Napier, Jerry Reynolds, right here on the channel. We'll be breaking down the first half, getting you ready for the third and fourth quarters. And then after the game, it's the post-game show. We have a ton of fun doing it. Most of you, a lot of you show up, and we so appreciate it. We had over 1,100 watching live on Thursday night. Tell a friend, tell somebody that's a Kings fan to give it a try. I promise you, you will find it's the best instant reaction and post-game show in Sacramento. Hands down, right after the game, we are here. Patrick getting in there. He's going back and forth between the World Series and basketball. I respect it. Diehard Knicks fan for 30 years. How you feeling, Knicks fan? You've got to be excited with what the Knicks have done. And Jalen Brunson taking that pay cut, that has extended the Knicks window with some of these acquisitions. Now, the Karl Anthony Towns acquisition to be determined, but you've got him for, I believe, another 3 or 4 years. I am very optimistic and excited to see what you guys do. In fact, I'm not putting much into what I saw opening night with the Knicks because the Celtics made 29 3-pointers, 29 threes. Yes, but you're pulling for the Kings because it's my best friend's favorite team for decades. Well, you're a good friend. Love it. Walt, thank you, brother. Or Wolf, thank you very much. Appreciate it, my friend. He is a regular around these parts. Johnny Finch helping it out. Tell everyone halftime show is the best. I'll tell everyone halftime show is the best. Appreciate it, Johnny. You know, the halftime show is pretty good. I'm not going to lie, but you know what else is the best? Seriously, I'm not jerking you around here. Bennetts restaurants here in Sacramento, 3 locations in all in the greater Sacramento area. If you have been with us since day one of our Kings coverage here on If You Don't Like That, you will know that the West Side Grill is Bennett's 3rd location and the newest in the Blue Oaks Town Center in Roseville. Here's the deal. There's not very many good, classy, great service restaurants around here that won't break your bank. Bennett's falls under none of all of those categories, I should say. I'm telling you, they have incredible specials. You've got to go to bennettsrestaurants.com and go check out like their midweek, their early week specials. They have happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 o'clock. They call them their sips and their tastes. Also, Monday nights, wine and dine Monday, 2 entrees and a bottle of wine for under $70. I told you about the brunch at the beginning of the show. You've got happy hour, or you've got prime rib all this weekend. And if you go check out bennettsrestaurants.com, you can also look at their extensive wine list, 60 different wines behind the glass, and you can make your reservations there, buy gift cards. Also, if you have holiday parties coming up, if you have get-togethers, looking for a place to host one, think about Bennett's. They have beautiful private dining rooms. In fact, speaking of get-togethers, Grant and I are planning to do another watch party with all of you sometime this season. We'll make sure it's a Kings away game, and we will broadcast all 3 shows from there. Maybe we can even get the one and only to drop by like he did last time. We will not be shaving our heads this time, but we will certainly come mingle, watch a game with you, have fun, and get some great food and ambience while we're at it. So do me a favor, go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Huge thanks to Brian, Margot, and the entire team at Bennett's for sponsoring the Kings pregame show tonight on If You Don't Like That. Yes, the Kings and the Lakers getting ready to tip this one off tonight from Los Angeles. Isn't it annoying that Los Angeles gets 7:30 starts? Why are they so special? 7:30? Is the traffic that bad that you get an extra 30 minutes? And why do you even give them the extra 30 minutes? It's not like it makes a difference in fans showing up on time. It's not cool to be at the Lakers game when it starts. It's cool when you roll in there like midway through the first quarter, take off maybe start of the fourth. You know, I do have to give one guy love that's always courtside at the Lakers games, James Goldstein. You might not recognize the game, but I can promise you, you'll recognize the clothes. He's the older gentleman that sits courtside on the baseline under the basket next to the visitors bench. He is a diehard basketball fan, travels around the country to catch games. But other than James, man, Lakers fan, I'm sorry I'm going in on you. But seriously, you want to piss a Lakers fan off? Pull a tag off their jersey. Then they can't return it. That'll really piss them off. Patrick, he was supposed to leave after 70 pitches. Talking World Series. Nice. Crypto Arena might be empty due to the World Series. No, it'll be going, especially with the Lakers 2-0. Also, Crypto Arena, one of the worst arenas in the NBA to watch a game, in my opinion. And it's not because it's the Lakers' home. It's just a bad basketball arena. You can be sitting in the lower bowl and you feel like you're a mile away from the action. So, anyways, DeMar DeRozan, I want to talk about this really quick. DeMar DeRozan, after the game on Thursday night, really impressed me with something he said. We talked last season about really the only consistent thing about the Kings was their inconsistency. And many times I got in front of this microphone, got in front of this microphone, and we'd be breaking down the Kings and we'd say, well, really, the Kings have to beat the Kings before they can beat their opponent. And DeMar's been in a Sacramento Kings uniform for one damn game, one game in the regular season. This was his response after the Timberwolves game when asked about what he thought of the performance and what the Kings can do better.
Tough on us. I felt like the whole game up to that point, we had the whole game in control. We played well. We defended well. They only hurt us when we hurt ourselves and gave them open shots. But, as long as we limit that moment, that stretch that we had in the third quarter, we pull out a victory, but like I said, it's a great learning experience.
I know the result is not what you guys want, but the reception you got tonight from the fans and just the environment of being in.
When we hurt ourselves, spot on. One game into the season, it tells you the level of mentality, the basketball IQ, the leadership that's now in that locker room, and not taking anything away from Foxy, Sabonis, Monk. They all lead in their own different ways, but there's a different standard with DeMar DeRozan and what he brings in. Very impressive in game one. Now, we can go back and talk about the rotation. That is something that Mike Brown, and we talked about it a little bit at the top of the show. But what Mike does with Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, trying to work them into this. I'll say this about Kevin. I did not think he played bad on Thursday night. I thought he played okay. And Kevin's a little bit bigger. If you didn't notice, I talked about that in training camp. I had a chance to see Kevin. And his shoulders are a little bit stronger, a little bit broader. You would expect that with a shoulder injury, but that can only help him. I don't think that's going to hurt his jump shot. And you got to give the kid some time to get back. We've had fans come on here and say mentally he's done. He's lost it. And I think that's a bunch of malarkey. I think that's a terrible take. No offense to you, Gammon. You are entitled to your opinion. Gammon, one of our callers, one of our viewers. But he went through a hard year, but he also went through an injury. I think what a lot of people are not recognizing is Kevin's looks changed, just like many of the other Kings. Their looks changed because teams were defending them much different last year. They were hanging off Domas, and you've seen Domas this year. In fact, Domas looks like he's gotten a little bit stronger, gotten a little bit quicker, gotten a little bit more explosive, which still blows my damn mind because the guy's already incredible. He's a machine. But now he's attacking defenders rather than attacking spots. And you saw a little bit of a difference, especially in the first preseason game against the Warriors. And then you saw a difference, I thought, for much of the game against the Timberwolves. Now, also defense for the Kings tonight. We talked about the zone a little bit that the Lakers may run. I expect the Kings to run a zone of their own. The liability there is obviously offensive rebounding. You're susceptible to that. But with the defense in game one, I was extremely impressed. The Kings were closing out hard. Hell, DeMar DeRozan, 16th year in the NBA, was running after a guy shooting a corner three. You see guys that are 3, 4, 5 years into the league that are made men in this league, and they don't defend the three that way. And DeMar was still out there doing that. So that only helps but raise that standard amongst the team. That is not a hustle play. That is now an expectation. But getting back to the defense as a whole, I'm interested to see what the Kings do tonight on the ball, because they closed out very well against the Timberwolves. Can they do the same against the Lakers? Can they push them off their spots? And again, the pick and roll defense, the high low, the communication, that is going to be absolutely key. The Lakers are going to want to slow this one down tonight. They're going to want to grind it out again, coming off of a win last night in Phoenix. The Kings, no game. They were in LA resting and watching. Here's what Coach Brown had to say about the Lakers.
Again, part of it too is, you got Trey coming back.
Excuse me, the rotation.
In the back of your head, you're like, okay, can I play him another stint? Can I play him a little longer this stint? Same with Kevin, and then you got a guy like Doug. You're like, okay, man, maybe he might get hot and hit 2 or 3 quick threes. A guy that I didn't play at all who has a chance to help us is J. Mac Jordan. And, but then it's like, okay, who does he come in for right now? You got Ant Edwards over there. So if Keegan's sitting down, maybe Keon needs to be on the floor. So again, there's some things that I'm juggling that will get clearer as we move along.
Coach, yes. And as we move along into tonight, Kings-Lakers, another thing to watch for. Coach Brown's rotation. Does it stay the same? His initial rotation against the Timberwolves went like this: Keon, Malik, Trey Lyles, Alex Len, and then back to Keon. Mixed the starters back in with that. You saw a little bit of Doug McDermott late. So what does Coach do tonight? Maybe it's a constant rotation. Maybe Coach goes a little bit more frequent with the substitutions to keep fresh legs on the court and keep pressure on the Lakers, because pressure tonight is one of the keys to this game, because they are on the second night of a back-to-back. I mentioned the World Series is going on. We've also got college football going on. Not going to run that down, but let me update you on what's happening in the NBA right now. The Magic lose to the Grizzlies. The Grizz 1-1 on the season. They pick up the win 117-96. The Timberwolves with 121 left in the fourth quarter are up 105-98 on the Raptors. The Spurs up 85-69 on the Rockets. 9.9 seconds left to go in the third quarter. How about the Rockets? Everybody had high expectations for the Rockets this year. They are 1-1. It's weird. The Kings have only played, this is their second game. Some teams already 3 under their belts. The Mavericks and the Suns just underway. That one's 13-11 in favor of the Suns. So we'll keep you posted on those games. But the game that we care about tonight, the Kings and the Lakers from Los Angeles, getting ready to tip off here in about 15 minutes. Although it's a 7:30 start, tip-off's about 7:37 usually. So you can find it on NBA TV, also NBC Sports California. But don't forget, make sure you come right back here for the coverage at halftime. We've got Jerry Reynolds with us. We'll be breaking everything down for you. And then the post-game show, Grant and I will open up the phones and get your takes on it. Hopefully, we are lighting the damn beam for the first time in the 24-25 season. Give me your score predictions. What do you think tonight's going to be? Which way do you think it's going to go? Give me your scores. I want to see him. Baki checking in. I told you, we've got people from all over the world. Baki checking in from Serbia. What's up, Baki? Hope you are well as well. Thanks for checking in tonight. Do you see any changes to Mike's rotation tonight versus last game? Yeah, I do think that Jordan McLaughlin gets in there a little bit tonight. I think especially with the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back, the Lakers they're bigger than the Kings, but they're not as big as Minnesota. I think Jordan is a good candidate to get some minutes. And we saw Keon again pick up full court a lot of times against Ant last game. I would expect that you see a mixture of that tonight as well with Keon and or Jordan. And then also, again, kind of shading your looks, trying to hide them. Maybe you go from a little bit of man defense and then you break into a zone defense, which then the point of that is to make the other team waste time on the shot clock, have to identify it. It's a good way to break up a run if the Kings are struggling and the Lakers are on a run. Good way to show them a different look. Also, will Coach Brown be more liberal tonight with his timeouts? There was one challenge that was successful. By the way, we didn't go over these. Let's hit these really quick and then we'll get to your scores. These are the rule changes this year for the NBA. I meant to hit these the other day and we did not get to them. Here's your first set of rule changes. Really, the most significant rule change that you need to know about is the expanded challenges on out of bounds plays. So the play that I point to illustrate this the best for you is against the Knicks last year. No offense, Patrick, but Malik Monk was shoved out of bounds and the ball went off Malik. Well, the refs did not call a foul, but they gave the Kings the ball. New York challenged, ball was off Malik, obviously, and so the ball went to New York on the challenge. The referees can now look and see if a foul was committed on the out of bounds. We saw that come into play last game against the Timberwolves. Also, the coaches get their second challenge with the first that is successful. There's some other things going on in the G League that are interesting. Now, the G League is really the testing ground for new NBA rules. For overtime in the G League, they're using a target score, which is a little bit different. And they've got a couple other tweaks going on as well. Now, for any of you that are into sports gambling, this is not anything that affects the game directly, but it is an interesting rule in the NBA that not a lot of people are talking about. There is only one person, a designated person per team that is allowed to have cell phone communications with anybody. So if players, if anything needs to come in, it has to go through that person. Now, in emergency situations, players are able to use their phones. There's protocols put in place, but this is so guys aren't tweeting at halftime. This is so guys are not looking at stuff. And the biggest reason that they put this rule in is to put a safeguard in place against inside information leaking out to the gambling world. So that is also a change in the NBA this year. Another rule in the G League, which I kind of like, you saw DeAaron Fox heave a three at the end of the third quarter against Minnesota. The G League is now allowing that shot to happen and have it not go against your shot total in your shooting statistics. So that's kind of a cool one as well. They're encouraging the heave-ho from full court. So again, Kings, Lakers tonight. We are getting ready to send you out there in just a few minutes. Which way do you see it going? Get your final scores in. Want to hear from all of you. Here's the information on the game. Again, with no Vanderbilt, no Christian Wood for the Lakers. That makes a difference with their size. Again, you really only have now size-wise Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes, and both of them have been playing a lot of minutes. We haven't talked about Connect yet, Dalton Connect. This kid is making this team better. Now, his box and his line doesn't always show it, but the game is not moving too fast for him. And a really subtle subcontext to this game is, did the Kings make the wrong pick? Grant's talked about it a little bit. We won't know for a couple of years, but knowing that the Kings needed shooting, and this kid is a pure shooter, and he's got a good basketball IQ, good mind on him. Defense is nothing that stands out, but he doesn't hurt you either. That's a little something to watch for tonight. I would bet the Lakers lean a little bit more on Dalton Connect off the bench to pick him up, since they are on the second night of a back-to-back. Patrick saying 125-110 Kings. Sports frickeasy. There was also a rule floating that G League players who heave half-court shots at the buzzer won't be dinged. Yeah, that's one we just talked about, buddy. Good job by you. Zakara, the target score in OT would be terrible for the NBA. would no longer watch basketball. That's crazy. Zach, if that would make you no longer watch basketball, I don't know, dude. John, 122, 107. Kings, Flores going 122, 114. Finchy, you just trying to get us to do a rant. That's what you're doing. Grant hates the scores backwards. Frog, what's up, man? 115, 109. Lakers. I appreciate the honesty. Baki, Ryno, people, look at this. Ex-King Davion Mitchell played 26 minutes, no points. Well, ex-King, happens, Baki. It happens, my friend. He was starting for them in the preseason, by the way. So, anyways, all right, we're going to get ready to send you out. Don't forget, we are back at halftime. Jerry Reynolds and Grant will be right here on the channel, breaking it down for you. Kings and the Lakers. We've got you ready to go. Hopefully, it is a good night for the Kings. Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back. However, 2-0 for the first time in 14 years. Enjoy the first half from Los Angeles. Do us a favor. Please give us a thumbs up. There's my finger. Give us a thumbs up. Retweet the show. It all helps. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe. 7.2 thousand of you have already subscribed. Scan that QR code to get set up. Promise you're not going to get anything weird in the mail from us. But you will know when we go live, and we go live every single game day, and we have so much coverage and so much content outside of game day too. We'll talk about that more at a different time, but do us a favor, come back at halftime. Thank you for being here for the pregame show. Can't wait to be back with you with Grant and Jerry at the half. As for now, it is time for the Kings to get it done. Can they get their first victory of this year? We will see. 4-0 against the Lakers last year. Lakers, again, second night of a back-to-back. Huge thanks again to Bennetts for sponsoring tonight's pregame show on If You Don't Like